Hello, my name is Jamie Saya of Woodrow Wilson High School in Camden, New Jersey. Online, you can find me at EduSayaKate on Twitter and Instagram. Today, I'm going to be going over answering evidence-based questions, strategies for classroom use. These are strategies that I have successfully used in my classroom. Depending on the grade that you teach, the Common Core standard may be different, but for 11th grade, it is RL/RI-11-1, citing evidence. The goal of close analytic reading is for students to be able to discern and cite evidence from the text to support their assertion. Learning to cite evidence is not only important for them to pass the PARCC and to succeed in high school and college courses, but it's also going to help them in real life. So what I want you to do is take a minute, pause the video, and brainstorm at least 3 situations where citing evidence is necessary in real life. Welcome back. Let's see if you came up with the same things that I have. To cite evidence in real life, according to my lease, it says that it's only $30 a month to have a dog. Or my insurance policy says that it does cover water damage. Or it says in my warranty that it will cover excessive corrosion, etc., etc. What I do to introduce citing evidence with students, because it can be something that is intimidating for them, is I use song. I show them a song that they're familiar with. So in this case, it was Here by Alessia Cara. First thing we do is we read the lyrics for unfamiliar words. So we do a close read of the song. The second step is we listen to the song while rereading, we annotate, and we find the main idea. The third step is we reread to find evidence that proves our assertion. In this case, what the main idea of the song is. This song in particular, many students are very surprised to find out that the main idea is not what they originally think that it is. I'm not going to play the song. You can Google it if you wanted to hear the song. But this is the worksheet that I use with them. It's actually quite handy for all different kinds of citing evidence. Like I said, I use it for songs. I also use it for primary source documents. I use it for textbook note-taking. There's lots of different uses for it. So what I do is, the first thing we do is we read it after our close read, and we find the central idea. We find quotes on the central idea, and then I have the students explain what that quote means and why it pertains to the central idea, why it proves the central idea. I keep going back and forth, and I tell them, like, what's your evidence? What's your proof? Same thing with these. So they're looking for 3 different reasons that the central idea is what they say it is. And then they're explaining why these quotes help prove their central idea. So close reading is the very first step. If they can't cite the evidence if they don't understand what they are reading. So close reading is the most important part of this whole citing evidence process. There's many different ways to close read. My suggestion would be to find one that works best for you and your students and stick with it. So I'm going to have to do some skipping around because this was a live professional development that I did, and some of the things I just can't do on a webcast. But we're going to move on to the choosing your evidence strategy. This is something I found in the book, Tools for Conquering the Common Core. The actual technique is called Choose Your Evidence. What you basically do is you give them a smaller reading passage, and you give them choices of evidence. Some things may be facts straight from the text, some may be things that contradict the text, but other things will be actually supporting the text, and it's up to them to pick the best evidence. Then you go over it as a class and you decide which ones actually are the best evidence, and explaining why, or better yet, asking the students why some things are or are not evidence for the text. Once students can identify the correct evidence by multiple choice, then you want to move on to their open responses. So this is a strategy that I like to use that helps them answer questions thoroughly when they're citing their evidence. So they answer questions like, how do you know? How can you prove it? Where's your evidence? This is something that we have to practice because this is really a skill that takes them some time to develop. There are a lot of open-end response acronyms out there. I prefer the APE one. It's short. There's some teachers in my school that use different ones. They're just as effective. But I go with this one. It's just easier for me to remember because it's shorter letters. But the A is answer the question. So you restate the question. P is proof from the text. So here's where you put your evidence in. And then E is extend or make an opinion or connection and make a summary of the statement. So this is where you explain that my evidence is correct because. So they can use different things like, I thought this because, I think blank happened because, I also think, I know this because. So they're making a connection with the text by proving that their evidence is correct. Once your students can effectively cite evidence and explain their reasonings that is evidence, that's when you get to the synthesis phase. That's when you can have students create things to show their learning. So once students can cite evidence from sources, they can effectively defend the opinions that they form from those readings with evidence. So some things I assign my students to do is we'll have in-class debates, or we'll write a persuasive song. We may create a mural, we may create a play. There's different things that you can do with that. I'm also interested in hearing the different things that you do with your students to show the synthesis of the material. Well, that ends my very first screencast tutorial. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and also YouTube at EduSciacate. It's EduSiacate. This Prezi presentation, if you wanted to watch the videos as well, can be found by searching the title of the Prezi, Answering Evidence-Based Questions. It is public, so it should pop right up. Feel free to comment or subscribe, and I will talk to you later.